Hi people, today I'm going to be talking about the Atlas Complex, the last book in the Atlas trilogy, written by Olivie. And I have to say, I'm not going to be talking much about the book per se. Let's say that we are going to be following our main six characters in their quest for trying to find their own footing. And in this one, they are going to be thinking about fulfilling the idea that Atlas had about creating a new world. And we are going to have the different characters and thinking about it and thinking about whether or not it's a good idea, whether they should or shouldn't, and whether it makes them evil, whether Atlas was evil, and what happened, and all of this. It's more complicated than that, but we also are going to be having chapters narrated by Atlas himself. And for me, I have to say that the story is important, obviously, but as I say that thousands of times, I'm character-driven. So for me, these books have been a marvel to read, and this last one has been amazing, but also very painful in the way that for me this book it's I don't know how to even explain that. I mean, this book for me wasn't as much about the book and about the characters and about the story, but about how this book made me feel. There were passages inside this book which were quite hard to read and to digest, that I had to reread like 2-3 times because I wanted to grasp the scope. This book destroyed me. It broke me like into 1,000 pieces of glass and then, rearranged myself again. I felt lots of things when reading this book. I thought about death, about mortality, about our own worth, about what's evil, about what's good, about where all those boundaries meet, what makes a person bad, what makes a person evil. It's its chance, its circumstance, it's something inherently inside the person. It also made me think about evolution of one person, about how you can begin like this sweet, innocent person and then like this evil person, or how the world around you shapes you and transforms you, and about how the story that you tell yourself carries you away. And it made me think about lots of things. So as I was reading, I wanted to know where the story was going to go and what was going to happen to the characters, because I love all of them, especially Parisa and Callum. But I also wanted to know how this book will really affect me once, I finish it. It has been quite an experience. The trilogy is amazing, but for me, this one, probably because it's the culmination of the trilogy, it's the one that really, and I love it. And honestly, I think that the fact that you have these 6 unrelievable narrators is one of the things that makes this book as incredible as it is. You have chapters narrated by every one of our characters, and there is not like this omnipresent narrator that tells you the truth. So you have the truth as these characters see the truth. And I think that's amazing, and I love the interactions between those characters, because maybe Parisa thinks of herself in a certain way and she begins to discover things about herself. But confronted with Callum, confronted with Reina, confronted with Olivie, she learns more about herself, and you learn more about them while reading these interactions. And for me, that has been amazing. It's been, like, as I say, quite the ride. And for me, at the end of the book, it wasn't as important to know who died, who lived, who did what, and, and why. But it was the message of there's pain in this book, there's rage in this book, there's trying to find your own way and trying to be your own persona, and trying, Parisa for me was amazing, the journey that she does and the things that you end up thinking with her. And Reina, who she thinks that she has the capability of being a goddess. Callum, who was this flippant character and you began to discover that he's something else. Olivie goes so far and beyond who she was at the beginning of the book. Nico and Gideon, I mean, everyone, it's amazing. And even Atlas, you began to maybe not understand, but you know what I mean, glimpse inside his head and try to figure out how and why he ends up the way he is. I mean, for me, this book has been amazing. The trilogy is amazing. It's written in a very peculiar way. I mean, you have to love how Liv Blake rates the worlds and how she narrates the stories and everything. And it's a very complex book. It's a very complex trilogy. And all in all, I will recommend it to you because it's amazing. It's mind-blowing. And it's something that probably will destroy you and rearrange yourself back again. So yeah, it's one of those books, as I said. For me, it was incredible, the journey that I had with this book, in the way that it rearranged something inside me, and there were passages which were hard to read and hard to digest, but overall it was an amazing experience, and I recommend it to you. And I guess it will affect you differently depending. I guess that the characters are big enough and great enough that you can relate your own experiences, and you can relate to one or more of them. So it will touch you in different ways. So yeah, I'm not making sense. This is an amazing book. You have to read it. If you have enjoyed the first two, you're going to love this one because it's amazing. Everything and more than we could have awaited for this trilogy. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.